we all remember the slashing on NBA 2K23 and how easy it was and how you could just bring anybody to a contact dunk. But as of NBA 2K24, you gotta actually know what you're doing. You gotta know when to actually go for a contact. You gotta know where you're angled and things like that. If you don't know how to end up activating the dunk meter, I do have a tutorial showing you how to use the dunk meter and how to dunk in NBA 2K24. But I will throw a little brief tutorial in here. I'm gonna show y'all the best badges that y'all need to be trying to get, the best dunk animations to equip, and how to place yourself on the floor to get a contact dunk. So to pull off a dunk meter dunk, all you're gonna do is hold R2, run to the hole, and once you get to around that free throw line / mid paint, you're gonna flick your right stick up, then hold down while you end up timing it. And once you end up trying to time it, you release it and it'll be in the green window. All I'm gonna say is it's gonna take some time to practice with it. It's gonna be different based on the dunk you get. Sometimes you might get a slow dunk animation, sometimes you might get a fast dunk animation. It's based on if you get a contact dunk or just based on where you're faced on the floor. But if you're someone that's trying to activate the dunk meter doing a standing dunk, as they added that this year in NBA 2K24, it is very simple. You can do it the same way. There's other functions that you can use, other directions you can use, but we're gonna stick with the flicking our right stick up while holding R2 and holding down and timing it under the rim. Now it's the same way you do as you're moving, but you're just standing still. You do not want to hold L2. If you end up holding L2, it'll end up giving you a layup or a nice little hook shot under the paint if you end up doing it. Now make sure you're not holding L2 under the paint. You have to be somewhat directly under the paint or around the vicinity to end up pulling a standing dunk off. Now if you're someone that's usually going to back somebody down, you're going to have to let go of that R2 to end up trying to pull it off. I usually try to make some contact so I can have a little room, but you also can just go straight up if you have a high standing dunk. Now standing dunk on this game right now is actually great. So if you got a high 80, 90 standing dunk, that meter is going to be actually big. And if you get takeover and you got finish and take, it's going to be hard to stop this because it's going to be easy to green every single time. But if you're someone that's going to end up trying to dunk with their right stick, by pointing at the top right or the top left while holding R2 toward the rim, you can control what hand the ball goes into. So if I want to end up dunking the ball with my left hand, I'm going to run to the hold R2 and hold my right stick to the top left. But now if you're someone that's going to ask, can you get contact dunks with this? Yes, you can get contact dunks with this. I usually end up doing this when I know I'm trying to go through traffic, if I think I can't slip through the actual defense, other than trying to actually time a small meter going at somebody head to head to get a contact dunk. Now you can dunk the ball with the right stick holding down to get a flashy contact dunk, but if you're someone that wants to control what you want to do, usually I use the right stick pointing to the top right or the top left to end up controlling where the ball is in my hand. But if you want to hear me get more in detail about it, it is a link in the description so you can check out that video talking about all the ways you can dunk on NBA 2K24. Now that I showed you how to use the dunk meter, now I'm going to show you the badges that you would try to aim for when it comes to building your build, or if you already have these badges on your build. Now some of you guys might have builds that got high finishing, some of y'all might have some average finishing, but badges like Precision Dunker is a very valuable badge, especially when it comes to being somewhat open or even if somebody's on your hip to get a contact dunk when you use a meter dunk. But with this badge, I do prefer you to have it silver or higher. But when it comes to posterizer, I definitely would want to have this badge at least gold, but silver does get the job done, but anything gold and up will be cool, but gold definitely gets the job done with posterizer. Now with slithery, this is going to be a very important thing. This is going to help you get past your defenders and help you slip past them. I do prefer you to have slithery at least gold or Hall of Fame. Silver does get the job done, but I'm saying gold or Hall of Fame, you're gonna get the best experience using that. But Aerial Wizard, if you're someone that likes to catch oops or even do putback dunks, I'm gonna definitely recommend gold. But silver, it definitely gets the job done. But if you're someone that's gonna be doing stand dunks, hey, rise up. I'm gonna tell you this now, highest you can get it on, highest you can get it on. Silver is the bare minimum, but I prefer gold and Hall of Fame. But if you're someone that got fast twitch, I'm gonna tell you bronze is kind of I prefer you to have, you know what I'm saying, fast twitch at least on silver or gold. But if you can get the badge to Hall of Fame, try to get the badge to Hall of Fame. Now look, if you're someone that's gonna figure out, okay, every time I go to the hole, I'm trying to get a contact dunk, the meter is small. I understand, we all get the same thing. Y'all might understand like, oh, why is your meter big when you dunk the ball? Not every time I dunk the ball, the meter is big. It's just based on where I'm placed on the floor, and that's very important in today's video. As I'm running to the rim, you will see my meter is very small, and that's a small guard in the paint with slashing tape. Now watch, this is going to be the same small guard that you're going to see in the next play get dunked on just by his placement. Just because where he was placed on the floor got past my defender, he's on my hip, and this man slides over, gets put in animation, and 2K rewards me with a bigger meter because he's out of place, because he's more near to the back and the side of the rim, so it gave me a better chance to time the meter. So you're maybe trying to figure out, how do I know I'm gonna get a bigger meter? As I got posterizer on silver on this build, Precision Dunker on bronze, slithery on silver, and I'm on a 6'7" lockdown with an 89 driving dunk. Now as my defender, he is 6'2", 165 pounds, and look at his defense. He has no interior, he has nothing upgraded but a defensive rebound. But as me going to the hole and trying to dunk on him, I have a small meter. Now you can say my precision dunker is small, oh I got bronze, and you shouldn't be able to do it anyway. But look, as I beat him to the spot, I get a bigger meter. Contact dunk. That's the best thing that you need to do. That's how you're gonna know if you're gonna get a big meter or small meter on NBA 2K24. If he cuts you off, you're gonna get a small meter, but if I beat him to the punch, I'm gonna get a big meter every time to end up timing that green window. As I get past them, get a little bit of room, and I space it out, I end up getting a nice meter size. Like I said earlier, I told you guys, if somebody's on your hip or they're somewhat behind you trailing, or if they somewhat trying to cut you off but they're not fully in front of you, you're gonna get somewhat of a big meter, so you can have an easier chance to time it versus this, as him knocking me out of a dunk animation with no defense. If you was standing under the rim and not in front of the rim, they would have let me dunk it on him. But as of this build, it has Hall of Fame slithery. This build is a 94 drive and dunk build. My 6'10 and my 6'3 has the same badges. Precision dunker on go and posterizer on go. As you see the stats, I'm gonna have a 94 drive and dunk, 80 layup. But as of the verticals, one is 82 and one is an 86. But for my ChaMoma build, take it to the lane, it's open. As him being on the other side of the rim and I have small contact dunks, I'm gonna get a consistent rate of getting a nice meter. But if he somewhat catches me right before I get into the animation, the meter will be small like this every single time. Now right now you see me timing it, but if I'm on a bigger build, it's kind of a little bit harder to time it on a bigger build versus the guard, because the meter is faster. Now you see, he came to the party a little bit late and he got caught. Now if he stand under the rim every single time, directly under the rim, it's a big meter, easy timing, no problem. If you stand over it, L2, anything, no problem. But if he stand a little bit in front of it, even if he put his hands up, I will literally get a small meter every single time. So make that a key thing. You gotta pay attention to the person that's playing help defense and the person that's guarding you. I'm gonna give you a big demonstration. What's the difference when you get takeover? This is before takeover. I take off from right here, I get a decent sized meter. This is an open dunk. I get past my man, that's slithery. But now I'm gonna end up popping takeover and showing you what it looks like when you get takeover and you get a decent blow by past somebody. The meter gets significantly bigger. And if you're gonna try to dunk on somebody head up, you're not gonna get a big boost on your meter. But if you're someone that's gonna be doing standing dunks, you see my meter size, it wasn't that bad. I could have timed that was just me missing. But as him putting his hands up and he's directly under the basket, I could get a dunk like that every single time and it'll be very easy to time. Now watch, if he stands a little bit in front of the rim, I'm gonna have a tiny meter every single time. So look, he's gonna stand right in front of the rim, put his hands up, no L2. I'm gonna try to withstand it, small meter. So you gotta pay attention where they're placed on the floor. That's why I try to say, make a little bit of contact first and try to push him under the rim and then try to dunk the ball. Because you see, every time I got a little bit of contact and he got pushed off me, it ended up giving me a nice size meter. So as you see, I go in L2, I end up creating contact and letting go of L2, and I get that nice size meter. So every time he under the rim, caught him lacking before he can get set up, and it gave me a great size green window. Now look, as I've just showed you, make sure they're on your hip. Make sure they're trailing a little bit. If there's someone in front of you, just know the meter might end up being small. And if somebody's helping out the corner, if there's someone in front of the rim, you're gonna have a small meter. But if there's someone behind the rim, you're gonna get a big meter. But as of the dunk packages that I usually use, I'm gonna show you a lot. As a contact dunks, make sure you equip most of your contact dunks. So most people don't like putting pro contact dunks off one. That's up to you. But I'm using every contact dunk I am available to use. Now, if you can get pro, small, elite, put them on. But if you're on a small guard, you 6'4", 6'3", and you can get small contact dunks, got the 85, 86 vertical, put them on. There's something about small contact dunks this year that it literally activates almost every single time. It might end up being better than the pros and elites, how good it activates. But if you got the elite contacts on the alley-oops and the pro contacts alley-oops, most people, if they got elite, they end up only keeping elite. But for my sake, I put everything on. You never know. That was a pro contact right there. And end up making them fall. It works in certain situations. That's just what I'm saying. It's just based on what situation you in. But for some standard dunk packages as a 2-foot moving dunks, I do usually use the clutch baseline reverse. This is a great one to use for the off 2, but everything else is usually off 1. As I got the athletic off 1, this is optional. You use Klay Thompson, you use Luka Doncic. Those are both good ones to use. But a dunk package that's very similar to the quick drop off 1 that's in the game, but you gotta be started 3, is the athletic hangs off 1. Now look, this is what this dunk looks like if you get the crazy animation. It literally, you get the limitless takeoff, and it's very hard to get somebody out of this animation. Small guard, big guard, it doesn't matter. It's very hard to try to knock somebody out of this animation. So if you want quick drops without having to hit starter 3, that's the closest thing you're gonna get. The next thing will be the baseline reverse. I use baseline reverse off 1. I did try to use the big man ones. It's something about the big man ones, they just too slow. If you're someone that's gonna do tomahawks, caught back tomahawks, that's an option, but it will get blocked. I'm gonna just tell you this now. Straight out tomahawks, if you can get it, put it on. That's one of those ones that, you know what I'm saying, it's a guarantee that you're gonna get that animation consistently. But for standing dunks, you can use the 45-40 standing dunk or the 65-70 standing dunks. That's your options. And if you got a high enough standing dunk, make sure you put your big man contact dunks on. But if you're someone that has a low driving dunk, like around the 70 threshold, if you can get park dunks, put on park dunks. Hey, you can put on the Klay Thompson, the Luka Doncic and things like that, but that park dunk off 1, flashy off 1, it definitely gets the job done. But for everybody else, I'm gonna tell you this now. Giannis dunk package is a great dunk package to have on, but you got a lot of good ones. Like I told you, you can use Luka, you can use Klay Thompson. There's other options. As a Luka, you need 70. I think Klay Thompson, you only need 55. But when you come to the next one, you want to glide across the floor. Scottie Pippen has a great dunk package to use, and if you're a small guard or even somebody that's under 6'10", you can use that Russell Westbrook dunk package, but you will have to have a 93 driving dunk with an 80 vertical. Now, Dwight Howard, if you want some great standing dunks, Dwight Howard got some great standing dunks. Dwight Howard, and I think Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons gets some wacky animations. But if you want a dunk that's very similar to like LeBron James and you're on a small guard, hey, use Ja Morant. Ja Morant and like Russell Westbrook, they are somewhat similar to the LeBron James dunk package, but if you're 6'5" and up, use LeBron James. That's one of the best dunk packages that you can use to get the straight on tomahawk without having that 95 driving dunk, 96 driving dunk. But if you're in the 6'10" and you got like a 75 standing dunk and a 70 driving dunk, put on Cat dunk package. His dunk package literally has you float across the court. You would think you out there with a 93 how the way you float around the court with that dunk package. But look, I gave y'all boys a lot of sauce and a lot of information on how to get contact dunks, how to place yourself to end up getting a bigger meter with a dunk in the ball. Hey man, make sure y'all boys drop a like on this video, subscribe, turn on notifications if y'all haven't yet. I'm gonna see y'all boys in the next one, and check out the 2 videos on the screen, man.